Hello everyone, Elyskye here. No way, right? Another Castorice video, and I just did one last week. Bruh. At this point, it looks like I'm just changing allegiance every other patch. Okay, but let's talk about the butterfly in the room, Castorice. She has great future potential, and I mean it. Not because she's the latest character, not because I like the character. And yeah, some of you may not have realized it yet. But no, it's not the global passive. And it's not, she will never be power crap, because let's be real, any character can get power crap, especially the DPSs. Yes, this includes supports. Before we begin, I'm actually talking about E0 Castorice in general, so I won't be bringing up her light cone, which is actually a really big DPS loss if you don't have it. Castorice actually has two things that are very future-proof in a DPS character. The first thing is, when she ults, she summons this Territory Lost Netherland, right? This very nice background. It decreases all enemies 20% all type res spend. The second thing is, when the dragon does his final hit, right? It's a bounce attack, which actually makes up the bulk of most of her damage. So let's talk about this more in detail. The first thing, Castorice Ultimate, which gives the territory that grants the enemies a 20% res spend reduction. Now you might be wondering, what is res spend? To put it simply, is the resistance of a mob. So you are reducing their resistance to an element. All type means all elements. A mob without the corresponding weakness will always have a 20% resistance to that element, so they will take less damage. Some mobs have additional resistance to an element. Let me give you one example, Aglaea, who has 40% ice resistance. So a total of 60% since she obviously does not have ice resistance. I mean ice weakness. Then you might be wondering, oh, why not just implant the weakness like Firefly, Boot Heal, or Silver Wolf, or even this upcoming character Aglaea, 7 weakness. Other than Silver Wolf, it actually doesn't work. Shocker, I know. You might not even know that. The reason is because when you implant, right, you actually don't reduce the resistance. But Silver Wolf does. Not any of the rest. She does. You can check the kit, or I'll put it on screen. You are still going to fight the mob with the elemental resistance, even if you implant, unless you're Silver Wolf. This is a very common misconception that implanting equals solve all problems of not having weakness. So people will be like, if you can implant, then what's the point of playing the game anymore? You just have every weakness. If you ask me, right, implanting is only important to super break. Because if they don't have the weakness, how do they break? But to every other DPS, they are still going to have this problem of this 20% resistance. Okay, but why is this important? You might be wondering, right? Let's say in the future, mobs no longer have quantum weakness, which is going to happen obviously. Then Castorice will be fighting them with 20% quantum resistance always. But because of the 20% res spend from the territory, she will still do damage as if they had quantum weakness. Just that you can't reduce the toughness. They have 20% res, right? Then the territory reduced by 20, so it becomes neutral. So you get where I'm coming from. Do note that she will still feel like she's weaker, but she won't feel as weak as other DPS trying to fight off element. Because now you have the 20% res down already, while it's on quantum weakness, right? But other DPS will not, so they will have to fight it with the 20% resistance to their own element. Being one of the only 2 DPS with the ability to reduce resistance by 20% in their kit, the other one is Akron, makes her kinda special. And it's funny because they are both actually anniversary characters. Maybe this is a trend going forward to keep them future-proof. So in a way, the anniversary character doesn't have to really worry about no weakness unless the mob has extra resistance to it. So obviously if you're going to fight a 40% quantum resistance, don't expect to have good results obviously. So the solution to this is you bail out and you use your other team, of course. Unless Castorice is your only DPS, then well, okay, I do have one thing to say about this. Okay? Territories do not stack. If you read the description here, do not stack. However, it is very unlikely they would do something so brick, like making a new support for Castorice that also has a territory.
Oh no!
Forcing you to choose, right? But what if the enemy can do it? You know, okay, not everybody might understand this. Okay, let me give an example. You know, Pokemon has this move called Trick Room, right? You set up a dimension, but you can also turn off the dimension by using the Trick Room again, or if your opponent does it again. So maybe the mob can set up their own territory and then it will cancel out her territory. I'm just saying this is a possibility, that's all. So that's an example. Now the second thing, the dragon's bouncing. I love bouncing. The most powerful type of attack in HSR is not single target, it's not blast, it's not AoE, it's bounce. Why? Single target hits 1 mob, blast hits 3, AoE can hit up to 5, but if there's only 1 mob on the field, it's literally single target. But bounce does not care. AoE, you can hit every mob if it bounces on them. Obviously 1 bounce per mob, or maybe if the other bounces bounce on the same mob. So you get what I mean? There's some AoE potential, but obviously it's weaker than AoE. And in single target, it's godlike. But why does single target matter? It's AoE meta now. Yes, let me tell you why single target matters a lot. In most of your battles, you are taking down a boss or an elite monster, be it whether there are other mobs or not. Your focus will always be the main boss target, correct? When you clear the trash mobs, the boss or the elite is the one left standing, assuming they don't summon more. Bounce is so powerful because if there's nothing to bounce to, 1 guy left on the field, do you know what the bouncers do? All of the bouncers will hit whatever that is left on the field, which is 1 target. So if you got 7 bouncers, all 7 instances of damage will land on the boss. You get where I'm going? Can you see how strong it is? And because bouncers are multiple instances of attacks, it has extremely high toughness damage. This is why Harmony MC was pretty strong in personal damage, and also why characters like Castorice, Aventurine, and Yunli can work in Super Break, because they are using bounce attacks. Let me give you an example. Why is Yunli one of the characters that can steal 0 cycle patches after her release, even though the mobs barely attack? Example, Nikador. Okay, we don't count the current reset, we count even the previous reset. Nikador. The answer is bounce. I saw this during her release in 2.4 and instantly knew that she is built to last. She may not last forever, but she's definitely longer lasting than every other DPS. So even when there is no more AoE meta, the bounce from Castorice Dragon will kind of keep her relevant and a strong DPS, as that's her main source of damage. So no matter what mode, AS, PF, MOC, she has something to, keep her relevant. Like she has AoE, she has bounce that can help single target. So in conclusion, Castorice is really future-proof for now. Will she get power crept? 100%. But she will last longer than most of the other DPS for sure. My advice is to always only pull if you love the character. Do not be fooled by meta. Unless of course you are a meta player. Then you are already fooled, like me. Having such a F2P team already available, even being able to substitute supports with a 1.x character like Ruanmei or Pella makes her such a good character, and her potential does not end here. RMC, which is the Remembrance Trailblazer, will get replacement for sure, just like their Harmony MC equivalent, and we have also yet to get a good 3.x sustain. So she still has more room to grow and be better. The potential possibilities are yet to come. She could even age better than we think. That is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Take care, have a great day, and see you guys in the next video. Bye!